In the green heart of the land, where the wind carries the whispers of ancestors, two villages stood apart. Ikkati, the village of small people. Ikuku, the land of giants.
Ikkati was home to ordinary folk, hardworking farmers who planted yam and cassava, fishermen who cast nets at dawn, and women who pounded fufu in wooden mortars while singing old songs. Their huts were made of mud and thatch. Their chief was Madi, a wise man with gray hair like elephant grass. They lived simple lives, guided by the oracle and the kola nut. On the other side, in Ikuku, lived the giants. These were not monsters from children's tales, but descendants of the first giant who once wrestled thunder.
What the river gives, the giants take first.
They stood taller than two men stacked, with arms thick as Iroko trunks and voices that boomed like festival drums. Their village was built on rocky hills, with houses of stone and giant palm leaves. They controlled most things around the river: the best fishing pools upstream, the fertile black soil for planting, the only strong bridge of ropes and logs, and the trade path that brought salt and cloth from distant markets. The people of Ikkati paid them tribute, in yams and palm wine just to fish or cross for trading. It was the old way. The big ones guard the land, the elders of Ikkati would say. And we guard our pride.
The year the rain forgot the earth.
There is no food.
Then came the year of the great dry.
The rains forgot to fall. The sun burned like fire from the sky. The River Nkasi shrank day by day until it was no more than a thin stream crawling between cracked mud banks. In Ikkati, the farms turned to dust. Villagers cried with empty bellies. The fishermen's nets came up with only stones. Chief Madi called the elders under the
We
oak
must
tree.
cross and beg the giants for water and land to farm.
Our ancestors shared blood with theirs long ago.
But the young men grumbled. We have paid enough tribute. The giants sit on green hills while we starve. The river is not theirs alone. On the giant side, Egangan gathered his people too. Their own crops were suffering, but their stores were still full from seasons of control.
The small ones will come begging, he roared. Let them bring double tribute. The river and its gifts have always been ours.
One morning, as the sun rose red and hot, the big issue exploded. A group of desperate men from Ikkati, led by the brave young fisherman Zaka, son of Chief Madi, crossed the shallow river at low tide. They carried hoes and seeds, hoping to plant on a small stretch of unused giant land near the water. They did not ask things. They were too hungry to beg. A giant boy, playing by the bank, saw them first. He ran shouting, his footsteps the ground like small earthquakes. Soon, 10 giants marched down.
Two small thieves, bellowed one, whose name was Tabitha. This soil is ours. The river is ours. Zoka stood tall, though he barely reached the giant's knee. The river belongs to the land, not to any man's size. Our children are dying. Will you let your brothers starve while your bellies are full? Words turned to shouts. Shouts turned to pushing. One giant swung his club and smashed a cassava mound. A human arrow flew and grazed the giant's arm. Then the clash began. The battle was fierce and short. Giants hurled stones that crushed huts on the human side. Humans darted between giant legs, cutting with sharp blades and setting fire to dry grass under their feet. Dust rose like smoke from 1,000 fires. Blood, red as palm oil, mixed with the river water. Zoka fought like a lion, dodging clubs and striking at knees. But the giants were too strong. Many humans fell. Many giants roared in pain from small wounds that still burned. By midday, both sides stood panting on opposite banks, the river now stained and shallow between them. The bridge lay broken in the water. Bodies of the fallen lay like fallen logs and scattered yams. Mci, the old storyteller from Ikkati, waded into the middle with a white collar knot in her trembling hands. Enough, she cried, her voice thick. Long ago, the first giant and the first small man drank from this same water as brothers. The drought is not the enemy, our greed is. The giants have strength. We have the knowledge of the soil and the songs that call the rain. Together we are one land. Apart we are dust. She paused, looking at both chiefs with wise eyes. But words alone are not enough. The river is angry. A ritual must now be performed by both villages to appease its spirit. Each village shall choose 7 persons dressed in pure white. They will come to the river at sunset. Together they will dance the dance of unity, offering gifts of kola, palm oil, and white feathers to the water. Only then will the river forgive us and bring back the rains. Igongon looked down at the broken bridge and the crying children on both sides. For the first time, his great voice softened. The small ones speak truth. We guarded the river too well. It was never meant for one village alone. Chief Medi nodded. And we forgot that even the smallest ant can sting the elephant. That evening, under a sky turning orange, the 2 villages met in the middle of the dried riverbed. They broke kola knot together. The giants carried stones to rebuild the bridge stronger than before. The humans brought seeds and planting songs. A new law was made: the river and its banks belonged to both villages. Fishing rights would be shared by the moon cycles. Land would be farmed together, with giants clearing the bush and humans tending the crops. At sunset, 14 figures in flowing white garments, 7 from Ikkati and 7 from Ikuku, stepped into the shallow water. They danced slowly at first, then faster, their feet stirring the mud as drums beat softly from both banks. They poured palm oil, tossed white feathers, and sang ancient songs of brotherhood until the river seemed to sigh in acceptance. From that day, when the rains finally returned, heavy and sweet, they fell on united fields. The giants still stood tall, but now they bent low to listen to the small ones' stories. And the people of Ikkati walked without fear across the river, their heads high. The River Nkasi flowed full once more, carrying the lesson to the sea: no matter how big or small, a village without its neighbor is only half a village. And in the green heart of the land, that truth still echoes whenever the palm trees sway and the drums beat at festival time.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching. That's the end of our story. And please don't forget to click the follow and subscribe button. Bye.